Dr. Nelum from Whole Food Revolution, and today I'm going to talk about protein quality. Are all proteins made the same? Are plant proteins and animal proteins the same? What do you think? And I'm here to tell you that they are not, and we'll go through the reasons why they're not the same. So firstly, I want to talk about protein. I have talked about protein before, but a little bit more detail. So protein is made up of chains of amino acids. These are the building blocks of protein. And there are 20 amino acids that make up all the different types of protein. But there's also something called essential amino acids. Now, essential amino acids, essential in nutrition means that we can't make it within our bodies. We need to get these amino acids from our food. That's what it means when we say essential. So there are 9 essential amino acids that we need to get from our food. Now, all of these essential amino acids in the right quantities are available in all animal proteins, all of them. In plant proteins, yes, soy products, quinoa, amaranth, buckwheat, seeds such as chia and hemp seeds, they have all the 9 essential amino acids. But legumes and grains, nuts, seeds, they don't have all of these, the other nuts and seeds. So that means that then they are what we call incomplete protein foods, or incomplete. These foods have incomplete, they are incomplete in terms of the amount of amino acids that they have. And the other thing is the bioavailability of this protein. So now what that means is when we eat the protein, how much of it do we digest, absorb and use? So animal proteins, we literally use all of what we eat. So there's a score called DIAS, and that's how we measure this. And for animal proteins, it's 1. So that means if you eat a gram of animal protein, you absorb and utilize that 1 gram of animal protein. While as plant proteins are not always as bioavailable. Now soy is very good. It's very close to animal proteins. It's about 0.9. So if you have a gram of soy, you will use 90. You will use 90% of that in terms of the body can utilize that. But things like quinoa, which are also, which is another of the essential, complete proteins, has a bioavailability of only about 75%. So if you're eating quinoa, not all of the protein within the quinoa actually gets to be utilized by humans. And legumes really about 60 to 70%, so significantly less bioavailability. The other issue that we've got to think of is how much protein, because we know that particularly for the first meal of the day and the last meal of the day, we really recommended to have 30 grams of protein so that we can kickstart muscle protein synthesis. So animal proteins, so to get that 30 grams of protein from animal food is quite easy, because if we talk about when we're talking about protein, we talk about in terms of measurement, we use the palm of your hand. So cooked protein food, palm of your hand is what we call, that is about 100 grams of cooked protein food, which if it's animal foods has about 25% of protein. So chicken breast cooked for everybody, so it's an approximate, will have about 28 grams of protein. So to get 30, you'll need to have just a little bit more than one chicken breast. Okay. And soy also is not bad. So a cup of soy has about 30 grams of protein. So it's not, soy is a really, really good source of protein. So soy comes in many forms. So things like tofu, tempeh, soybeans, edamame, all of that, very, very good source of protein. But quinoa, things like quinoa that a lot of people use, and because they do feel that it is a very good option, to get 30 grams of protein from quinoa, you need to have nearly 4 cups of cooked quinoa to have that. So that's quite a big amount. With lentils, for instance, for legumes, you need to be having, so the legumes vary depending on the type, but lentils, for instance, you need to have 2 cups of cooked lentils to get 30 grams of protein, which is quite a lot of lentil. And the other issue with plant proteins is that they do come with higher carbs. Just the way it is. Soya, however, soya products don't have a lot of carb. They have, so for that 1 cup of cooked soy, which will give you that 30 grams of protein, you're probably going to get about 10 to 15 grams of carbs, which is not bad. Not bad in terms of plant proteins, because quinoa, to get that 30 grams of protein, you have to have about 4 cooked cups of quinoa, 145 grams of carbs. So, this is an issue. And then if you think about the animal proteins, well, there's very little, because carbs don't tend to come with animal food. So you tend to have very little amounts of carbs. So, and when we're talking, particularly in the over 40 age group, when there's a lot of metabolic health issues, we really want to keep our carb intake as low as possible. So if you are an omnivore, you eat plants and you eat animal foods, then that's fine. Just really, I would suggest then prioritize animal proteins. But if you are a vegetarian or vegan, then then obviously that's not an option for you. So there I would really suggest the soy option. Soy is a really good source of protein that is lower carb, and I think that is a great option for vegans as well. And so, and then also mixing and matching. If you're having soy, then you're getting that good complete mix of amino acids. Same with quinoa. But everything else you need to mix and match. So for a lot of people, vegetarians, vegans, they would have something like rice and lentils. So that gives you a full complement of the essential amino acids that you need. And really try and add in as much soy as you can. So I think the takeaway message is that proteins are not all the same. Animal proteins have all the essential amino acids and are much more bioavailable and have less carbs than plant proteins. But if you are vegetarian or vegan, there isn't an option of having the animal proteins. So I think really kind of ensure that you're having soy products whenever you can, because that gives you that really good quality, pretty bioavailable, lower carb option for protein. So hope that helps. And if this was something that interested you, then like, subscribe and share. Bye.